What's going on, guys? So we lost again. We're now 1-6. Raiders are basically out. I mean, it would take a miracle. We have to win every game, including beating the Chiefs twice to make the playoffs, which is pretty much impossible at this point. The way they're playing, um, unless something happens and we come out, and just dominate every other team this year, which I don't see happening. It seems like and I mean, there was some like that right there was an amazing catch. There were some great plays in this game, and don't get me wrong, we had a chance to win this game. We were leading at halftime, just like we did in many games this year. We had a chance to win it in the fourth quarter. Um, we had a chance to come back after they scored here. We had a chance to come back. We could have came back here, but instead of coming back, we fumble, you know, and it's just sad. Because like we had a chance in this right here in the fourth quarter. We had a three and out early in the fourth quarter, and we were only down by 7 points. Right after this touchdown, because it skips. It's not in the highlights, obviously, because it doesn't deserve to make the highlights because it was absolutely atrocious. But it just seemed like it played out like almost every other play call from Gruden in the fourth quarter when we desperately need third to make third down conversions on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. This is consistently, and I've been saying it. If you go back and look on my channel, consistently Gruden calls these absolutely atrocious play calls that leave us in Derek Carr in a position to throw a 5 or 6 yard pass when all he needs is 2 yards. All he needs is 2 yards. Let him run for it, or let him just check it down to Jalen Richard or something. I don't understand. We need 3 yards, and yet he's throwing like this. Oh, he's trying to drop the pass in over top of the defender to the receiver so that, and it's just outside of his fingertips, so he drops it. I don't know if you guys remember this play, but it was third down, and, it was 3rd and 3 on our like 20-yard line in the fourth quarter with like 12 minutes left. All we need to do is make the play. That's all we need to do, and guess what? We're driving, and maybe we score, and they don't have a chance, you know? Instead, what we get is play calling that is just absolutely stupid on third down, trying to drop passes in instead of just going with the easy check down to a running back to get 2 or 3 yards, or an easy quick slant that guarantees you 2 or 3 yards just to get the first down, to get Carr in a rhythm up the middle to Cook. Like, we didn't throw it once to Cook in the fourth quarter, and I know we only had 2 drives, basically. But it was just so flat. And why is that? Like, because we're not making connections. We're not getting guys going. It just seems like it's such a anemic play calling, especially when we're down in the fourth quarter. It just drives me nuts. But if you watch, and I mean, these guys are just, and our defense, our defense played pretty terrible. I can't, we have no pass rush. We, basically all day, Andrew Luck has to sit there. But this play is what lost the game for us. This fumble by Doug Martin is what lost us the game. Now, a lot of people are talking about how Gruden has been tanking and how Gruden has been, basically giving up these games. And I don't know. I guess you could argue that what he's doing is he's winning up at halftime. He's basically making sure that he's looking like he's keeping in the game. And then in the fourth quarter, he comes out with these play calls that he knows are pretty much not great play calls, but he does them because he wants to lose, essentially, or at least um, make it look like he's attempting to win the game for us, but at the same time he's calling plays that he knows are probably not gonna like I don't know, it's just questionable. If you look at a lot of his fourth and down goal line stands, a lot of his fourth and down in the fourth quarter where we need it, he's throwing it to Keith Smith, he's running it with Keith Smith, he's doing all these questionable things. And you could say, oh, he's just trying to go with, like I was saying, like he basically he just wants to go with his guys. He doesn't want to trust in, the Reggie McKenzie guys. He doesn't want to trust in Cooper. He doesn't want to trust in Lynch. He doesn't want to trust in Carr well, actually, I shouldn't say that. He has a little more faith in Carr, which I don't understand why on fourth down on the goal line, where you have more trust in Carr than Lynch when it's been proven historically that Lynch will get you that touchdown. It just bugs me that he'd rather go with you know his own guys like a Keith Smith or like a Doug Martin. it just bugs me. And one thing I noticed in this game is that a lot of times we, were playing very well, and then it just seemed like we came out in the fourth quarter and our play calling was just so bad. Like where were these kind of passes? It's just and we were under pressure a lot. But Derek Carr was playing very well. He was making the throws that he needed to make, and then in the fourth quarter it just fell apart. And our defense has a lot to play. Our defense can't stop anybody. I'm the first person to tell you that. I like a lot of our defensive players, and I think we made a big mistake in benching Conley and Melvin and going with Worley. I don't like that idea. I think that Melvin and Conley, if they were allowed to play together and develop a camaraderie throughout the whole season, they would develop better instead of just throwing in these random guys right off the bench because Gruden has so much faith in his picks. And that's one thing that bugs me. And it's like I say, like he constantly wants to go with his guys. And in this game, like Doug Martin fumbling obviously was probably one of the biggest what lost us this game. So in that sense, you could say that Gruden wanting to go with Doug Martin in this circumstance in the fourth quarter when we're down instead of throwing the ball lost us this game. You could argue that, and I would absolutely agree with you. Like this play right here, and the fact that he's not even trying to protect the ball. Doug Martin's just trying to get open in space, use his arm and stiff arm, but not realizing the defender is tomahawking coming right at the ball. He does not even try to tackle him. He's just trying to get the ball. And it's just so sad because if we throw it in this circumstance and say even if we don't get it incomplete, guess what? We're still driving. We still have the ball. We still have like a huge chance to win. And even if we have to punt it right here 5 minutes, then we still have a huge chance to win. We're only down by one touchdown. They don't have it on our 20-30 yard line. Like this play did lose us the game. But I think overall we need to start questioning kind of the play calling and just the attitude in the fourth quarter of just, oh, we're not worried. Like so many times this year, it's like in the fourth quarter we're not hurrying to the line when we're down by a touchdown, or we're not trying to just go up and score in the first play, and it bugs me. It's like we want to dick and dunk down the field, and I understand why that is important and why you need to do that in a lot of in certain circumstances, but if you don't have the time to do that, you need to just go for it. And three passes that are incomplete don't cost you much time on the clock, 20-30 seconds. You can punt it and still get the ball back. That's the circumstance. But if you don't get it, then you're in a circumstance where you're pretty much you've lost, because you can't come back from that deficit, and you can't move the ball up the field with only a small amount of time. So you need to just throw the ball, because when you're running the ball in the fourth quarter, you're giving up time. Regardless of how you look at it, you're losing time. You're either giving up time for you to score, or you're using up the clock so that you can win. But at the same time, if you don't score, like if we turn it over, or if we fumble in the fourth quarter, then obviously we don't have that chance to score, and then we're lost. So that's why we need to go out and score quick, so that it doesn't matter. Like if you fumble later, then guess what? The game's tied now. And just circumstances like that, where it's like we need to be going out and punching them in the mouth and scoring and just constantly being up. Like in this game in the first quarter, we didn't score at all because we just constantly were trying to run the ball and go with these stupid plays, when it's like, you know what? We've come to a point in the where we need to score. We need to just go out and light teams up, and we need to be putting up 40 points every week because we know our defense is not going to stop people. So we need to either go out and bring some people in. Like I think maybe signing Navarro Bowman would be a good idea. Although I think we should have done that a long time ago. It might be a decent idea to do now, but at the same time, we need to. I think we need to do is just put out all our rookies. We need to just start all our talent, all our young guys. We need to start cutting out all these veterans, because you know what? At the end of the day, they need to just be the teachers. They don't need to be on the field. And since we're losing anyway, and it's going to be a rebuilding year, we need to get the younger guys as much time on the field, as much game experience as they can get this year, because we're not winning, we're not making the playoffs, so we might as well get our young guys in there and get as much experience as they can, so that when we get our huge number of draft picks, we can actually have a decent team that knows and has game experience and can work together. Because that's really what we need, is a defense, especially our defense. An offense can come together pretty quickly, but a defense needs time. And that's the problem with our defense, is that we're bringing in so many different pieces. We're always trying to piece different guys in, and we're benching guys like Conley and Melvin for entire games, so they lose that connection. They lose that motivation. They lose that adrenaline and all that momentum that they've built up for playing a bunch of games and getting that consistent play. It's not easy to just come in and out all the time and to sit entire games because your coach doesn't like you when you literally are one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the league. I don't understand why you bench Gaon Conley, unless you just don't like him because he's Reggie's pick, which seems to be Gruden's MO. But I don't know, man. I just getting tired of like this whole Raiders hate because honestly, man, like everybody hates the Raiders right now it seems, and even me myself beginning to come up with the same things. But I'm looking to do other things. And anyway, yeah, sorry about that. I just had somebody knocking on the door real quick. But yeah, so essentially, I think all this hate and all this animosity is creating a bad culture in the locker room. Although the players deny it, I think they know it's true, and I think that there was a lot of support in Oakland. The fans showed up, and I'm happy about that. But at the same time, I think what's happening is a slap in the face to Oakland. The fact that Gruden doesn't want to win now, and the fact that he's just giving up on Oakland, and because we're going to be in Vegas in a few years, it just kind of shows that he's giving up on the city, and then the fans now keep supporting him even through that, and it just hurts. It hurts to see your team that you love in the city that you respect and you want to see like get a championship before the team moves to Vegas, and we just give up, and they just give up. They trade all their good players, and that's the thing. Like you're not guaranteed in any of these draft picks, and anything that Gruden shows you, like all of his draft picks from this year haven't made our team that much better, have they? So it just bugs me because it's like, where do you see this making us better? Are you going to get a better wide receiver than Amari Cooper? Are you going to get a better defensive end than Khalil Mack? Are you going to get a better quarterback than Derek Carr? Maybe the last one, Derek Carr, I think you probably could, but at the end of the day, what are you trading? Like you need so much for this team that even 3 first-round picks and 2 next year are not going to solve your problems, Gruden. I think keeping Khalil Mack would have done a lot more to solving your problems, and actually because we need a pass rush, and I think a guy like Bruce Irvin needs to be gone. I don't know why he's still on the team. He's absolutely trash, and same with guys like Emmanuel Lemur and these rejects from other teams that we just seem to think that we're gonna get the best out of, and they can't make tackles in open field, and they're just terrible. Guys like Tahir Whitehead, who I don't mind in certain ways, but his coverage ability is absolutely atrocious, and I don't not like him in the open field. He's good on the line of scrimmage, but in the open field, I think Whitehead is one of the worst covering linebackers in the league, and that's just my opinion. And what I've seen, it's just terrible. His lines to the ball and his ability to kind of understand where he needs to be on the field is not good, and he's led to a lot of touchdowns because he's been in the wrong position. Not just him, but I see him a lot. Worley the same, but that's more just man to man. He loses the man on man battle. Anyway, so I just want to say that like I'm still gonna love my team no matter what happens, but at the end of the day, it's hurting right now because of all the things that are happening. I think he's giving up on Oakland. I think that the fans are still supporting the team, but at the same time, the team is not really in a good place emotionally, and I think this loss has just made it that much more obvious that what's happening is a constantly is tanking, and a constant kind of depressive state for the players that are constantly trying to get gratification in some way that they can in any way, and they just constantly see their kind of hard work not paying off. Because like I said, we were in this game and we probably should have very well could have won this game, but instead we're looking at 1-6, steady rebuilds. Like I said, put all the young guys in, get these veterans out, and start looking for players that we can bring in and actually make a difference. If we need to trade up, like we need some serious players. We need a defensive edge for sure, and we need something. Get Bowman back, but I don't think that these draft picks are going to make us the better team. I don't think next year we're going to be amazing. I don't think even by 2020 we're going to be amazing. But at the same time, I don't know what else to say. But hopefully we can do something with this season and actually make something out of it. But at the end of the day, I think we're rebuilding and we're looking for the 2019 season. So let me know what you guys think. And go Raiders.